Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Sanitation meeting for the City of Beech Grove. The date is January 16th. I'm sorry, that's not January 16th. The date is February 5th, 2024. My name is James Kaufman, Mayor for the City of Beech Grove.
I'm Samantha Stratton, Clerk Treasurer. In lieu of roll call, we'll introduce ourselves starting on the right.
Ben Easley.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You have minutes in front of you from our last meeting. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes?
I have none.
Thank you. Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Approval of claims. In front of you, Board, you have 5 pages of claims in the amount of $168,246.65, dated February 5th, 2024. Any questions or comments?
I had none.
Neither do I.
Take a motion to approve the claims dated February 5th, 2024, in the amount of $168,246.65.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. There are no public comments this evening. No unfinished business and no new business either this evening. Comments from board members?
I have none. Thank you.
Neither do I.
Okay, thank you. Motion to adjourn the meeting?
Make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The meeting is adjourned at 6:02. We will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting as soon as we reset. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for the City of Beech Grove. The date is February 5th, 2024. My name is James Kaufman, Mayor for the City of Beech Grove. for the clerk treasurer.
I'm Samantha Stratton, Clerk Treasurer. In lieu of roll call, we will introduce ourselves, starting on the right.
Ben Easley.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you. Board, in front of you, you have minutes from our last meeting dated January 16th, 2024. Any questions or comments about those minutes?
I'll make a comment. You're really doing a great job on on the minutes, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
I like the new format, so yeah, thank you.
Very good. Take a motion to approve the minutes dated January 16th, 2024 as presented.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, the same sign. Aye. I said aye. Approve. I'm
Aye.
sorry. Those opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Approval of claims. You have a docket in front of you dated February 5th, 2024, 32 pages long, in the amount of $2,024,074.01. Any questions or comments?
I do have a question, and it is on page 28, and it is the three charges for Cargill for the salt and gravel. And it is a big chunk of change.
Yeah, so Cargill Incorporated, that is for the salt that DPW purchases every year, correct? I think Brad Merriweather, our DPW director, is going to come up and explain that a little bit, give us a little history on how much the city spends on that.
Yep. So yes, accurate. We bid. We're in a state bid. Each year we put a bid in sometime around spring. There are three big providers of salt. We're always, hooked up to Cargill because we're in the Greenfield district with NDOT. So we're right now currently paying about $89 per ton for treated salt. And what you saw was, so each year, obviously, there's no way to know how much salt you're going to need. I mean, over time, I've gotten a kind of a rough idea of an average, but it's, I've had years where we were desperately seeking more salt. Other years, obviously, with the weather where we have a surplus. Last year, we had a surplus, so they offer now, the last couple of years, since the winters have been mild, to store it for a fee. It's a relatively minimal fee. And so I was actually buying or ordering the salt from last year to get caught up. And I bid less this year, knowing that I had salt from last year. And so we have fulfilled our obligation for 23, and I now have a smaller amount each year. And I hate to belabor the point, but they go 80 to 120 on percentage of what you order. So if I order 500 tons, I can order as low as 80%, 400, or as high as 120, so 600. So they give you a little room to play. But obviously you can't predict if it's going to be a harsh winter or a mild one. So that's why, and we finally got some weather and we were doing a lot of salting because the temperatures had a little bit of snow. Actually, sometimes the slick roads versus, you actually almost use less salt when you get 6 or 8 inches of snow than you do when you get an inch or a half an inch or just ice. So we did quite a bit of salting, but that's kind of where we stand with our salt. And right now our bid for 23, technically 23, 24, is 500 tons, so I can go 80% of that. So we have 400 tons that I am obligated to order, and February so far is looking like it's pretty warm. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But I do see some lower temps coming in a week or so.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate the
Very good.
explanation.
Yeah, no
and
problem.
Yeah.
Thank you
Appreciate
to your crew too. They always do a great job when our roads are slick. So thank
Yeah,
you.
they do a fantastic job. Thanks.
Thanks.
And there's a lot of salt out there too. You can go out there, you can see the salt bed, and there's a whole lot of salt out there. It's pretty impressive how much can.
Yeah, and for your
that thing.
information, the treated salt is not a lot more than the untreated. And one year we were stuck with the untreated. I think the treated we were unable to get. It was like 10 years ago. And the untreated salt is far inferior. The treated salt it works at lower temperatures. It's just far more effective in my experience. So it's worth the few extra dollars per ton that we pay to get it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The untreated stuff was not well received when we were using that. So
Right.
We store it in-house if we have extra.
Yeah.
They, at the end of the winter season, do they come pick it up and store it for us in the off-season, or do we hold it? And
yeah,
need it?
we have a covered, essentially a barn,
Yeah.
and we can house somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 to 500 tons, maybe close to 600 if we really pack it in there. So we try to keep it full, especially when I know fall's coming. I like to see a full barn. You never want to get caught off guard or have to order it because sometimes the delivery times can vary. And if you have to wait a few weeks and all of a sudden weather's here, then you really are in a bad situation. So yeah, with it being covered, we really don't experience any negativity to the salt itself. The main thing is as long as it's not exposed to rain and it's obviously bleaching out or drenching out the chemicals in it, then we're good to go. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments
I have
on the
none.
docket? Take a motion to approve the dockets dated February 5th, 2024, 32 pages long, in the amount of $2,024,074.01.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Public comment. There are no public comments this evening. No unfinished business carried over from our previous meeting. We'll move on to new business. Up first on the agenda is a full-time hire request for the Beech Grove Senior Citizens Center. Stephanie?
Good evening, Board. Currently, Peggy Lambert works part-time at the senior center. She works for us and has been working part-time, but putting in full-time hours because she's been needed. I'm requesting to move her from part-time to full-time, taking her from hourly pay to salary pay. That salary would be yearly $39,200. She's working currently on getting her Class B CDLs. It's been a little tied up because there's some new steps that you have to take in order to get those. And that's just within the last 2 years. So once we've moved past those new steps, we'll be coming back and revisiting her pay at that time. But currently, I'm just requesting if we could move her. She's been doing good and fits in very well.
Very good. Any questions or comments for Stephanie, the Senior Center Director?
What's her current position and like some of the duties?
Driving is the main duty currently.
Yeah.
Our cars. I've been doing all the trips because I have my Class Bs, so I've been taking the bus with. We do volunteer grocery for the low-income seniors, so I do that too because that's on the bus. But currently she does transportation in the vehicles, the smaller car runs, not smaller runs. And then, of course, inside with events, referrals, we have a list of things that we do all day that she takes part of.
And when you say she's been working about full-time hours but only compensated, was it only compensated for half, or have we been able to
So,
compensate her?
no, so she's being paid hourly.
Okay.
She doesn't have, she's not receiving medical
Got it.
in that way.
No benefits.
So she gets paid hourly.
Sure.
And I have a question too. Is it in the budget?
Yes.
For a
it is-
full-time?
Yep, it is a full-time. So the previous employer she's been out without a full-time employee for about 2 months or so. So
Correct.
It is a
Okay.
full-time budget.
Yes.
It was
in the
budgeted.
salary.
It is
Okay.
in the budget,
Perfect.
yes.
Thank you, Stephanie.
That is correct.
Yes.
Any other questions for Stephanie?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to approve full-time hire of Peggy Lambert for the Beech Grove Senior Citizen Center. Salary will be $39,200.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Up next is a DPW Parks and a Senior Center vehicle lease. Part of the budget last year was to get some vehicles ordered for several of our departments here in the city. Some of the vehicles have been on back order for many, many months. So this was placed, it was probably middle of the second or third quarter or so of last year, 2023, to order some vehicles. So we have a lease agreement through Regions. That is who we currently have our bank accounts with through the city. The lease would be for several vehicles for the DPW, parks, and then a new van for the Beech Grove Senior Citizens Center. if you see in front of you, board, the lease is for up to $497,000 for a 5-year lease. The last time we did this, I believe, was 2000 and probably 17 or 16. Thank you, Brad. 2016, we did the same thing in order to purchase all these vehicles or start departments and then spread the cost over 4 or 5 years. So that lease went up a couple years ago. The vehicles were still in work, or in use, so it's time for some new ones. So, any questions for the board?
I have a question. So what are we doing with our old vehicles?
So Brad's here. If Brad wants to come up and thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
So I know the DPW has gotten, is it 4 of them? 4 trucks and a vehicle.
Correct. Yeah, so in 2016, we had 4 F-250s, an Explorer, and then 2 F-250s for the park that were part of that package. So they're going into their 9th year of service, and we're starting to see more mechanical issues and maintenance needs and things. So you kind of get to that threshold where it makes more sense to replace them. And then typically we auction off our old vehicles through Heimel, usually.
And they'll be going to auction soon, as soon as we get the delivery. Of the
Well,
new
it's probably
ones.
not until later this year. We'll schedule an auction with Heimel later this year once we get some more things gathered. I know you've gotten possession of yours, correct?
Yeah, the green paint for the parks truck, those trucks were delayed because of the paint. There was some kind of issue in timing, so that we haven't taken delivery of those yet, nor have we gotten the Explorer or the van. So those could be over the next couple of months, staggered, depending on production. She said to expect the parks trucks most likely late this month, early March.
Do you recall when we ordered some of these trucks for DPW?
Yeah, it would have been late summer, early fall, and prior to that, we were really behind. Like, we had ordered a couple of F-250s that took over almost 2 years to get. So we were kind of anticipating that these would even take longer, and then surprisingly, we got a call that they were available.
Yeah, they came in, I think, a few months early, I believe, this time.
Yeah.
So we were pleasantly shocked. So
Yeah.
I think, it was good for our DPW guys to get some new vehicles and get those placed into service.
Yep.
So, board, so this would allow the clerk treasurer to enter into a lease agreement with Regions Bank for up to $497,000. And if you look on that couple pages in, it shows you a breakdown of the cost for all those vehicles. The first one has the 4 trucks for the DPW, 2 trucks for the parks, and then the final Ford Explorer is for the DPW as well, for a total of $427,936. And then also the next page is for a new transit van for the Beech Grove Senior Citizen Center. And Stephanie, you want to come up and talk about that for a second? So, see, they currently have a couple vehicles and a large bus. I think the bus holds up to.
We do. We have a 25-passenger bus, and then we have the one we'll be trading out is a Ford Interceptor. So it's a smaller vehicle, tighter fit. What the van is going to allow us to do. Currently, we do a lot of running in that small car. We're expanding. We have a higher demand for transportation. We have widened our boundaries. The need is there. And so we're running that little car, all over, and as well as the Durango. This will allow Peggy to be able to put multiple seniors in there with walkers, canes, groceries, supplies from the pharmacy, things that they need, and more than 1 or 2 people. We can load it up, and it just makes more sense to have bigger space and pick up 4 people down south instead of 2, and then make the other 2 wait because one of us is off work or traffic or something.
It'll also allow you to make trips with, if you have a smaller group of people, 5 or 6 or 8 people, you don't have to warm up the bus, and it'll kind of save some wear and tear on the bus, which is
Correct.
aging. How old is the bus?
It's a 15.
So
It's a 15, yes. It is aging, and it will also allow us to do the smaller trips, but also allow us to make larger ones. So instead of filling up the Durango, we can fill up that van. We have 30 people going to Churchill Downs May the 1st. If that van was here, we would fill it up, I'm sure.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, board?
No.
Greg, is it okay? All right. If there's no further questions, I entertain a motion to approve the clerk treasurer to enter into a lease agreement for the new vehicles for the DPW, Parks, and Senior Center.
I'll make said motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Stephanie. Up next is Beech Grove Police Department promotion. Sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. Good evening. I'm here for Chief Maurice. He wrote a letter here to the Board of Works. He says, I'm excited to announce that Officer Richard King has been promoted to Sergeant. Sergeant King serves many roles at the Beech Grove Police Department and will now be a supervisor. His pay rate will change from $344.6.35 biweekly to $3,734.81. When approved, this promotion will become effective February the 5th, 2024. Respectfully, Chief Michael Maurice, Beech Grove Police Department.
Questions?
Budgeted.
Yes. Yes, ma'am, it is.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Sergeant King.
Yes, we are very lucky to have him.
Exciting.
He's a veteran and, as we stated, an FTO, SRT member, as well as a primary instructor generalist on our STOPS program. He does a lot for the Beech Grove Police Department.
Any questions? All right, motion to approve the promotion of Officer Richard King to Sergeant.
I'll make said motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. One more thing, sir. Up next is the Beech Grove Police Department new hire request. Sir?
Absolutely, Mayor. Thank you. February 5th, 2023, from Chief Michael Maurice. Dear Board of Works, I'm requesting to hire another officer to replace an officer that will retire in July 2024. We have an individual on our hiring list that does not have the academy. For them to be placed on the list for an academy slot, they must be hired. The budget can handle another officer until the retirement occurs in July. Thank you for your consideration. Respectfully submitted, Chief Michael Maurice.
Can I ask?
Of course.
Does the hiring process usually look at potential candidates that already have the academy under their belt?
Absolutely, sir. And we take that into consideration often. But, you're going to miss out on hirees that are very dedicated, qualified people that don't have the academy. Our last 3 hires all had the academy. Obviously, one from IUPUI, one from North Dakota, one from the Cumberland Police Department, and that was great. But this person has also shown themselves to be an excellent candidate. We're fortunate that they applied to us, and we definitely take it into consideration, but we don't generally make a decision on interviews and testing and all those things just because someone has the academy. It's a plus, but it's not a thing that we must have.
And do we then pay for them to attend the academy once they are hired?
Correct. After they're hired, then we pay for them to go to the academy. With looking ahead and seeing that we have somebody retiring, we can afford to hire somebody that doesn't have the academy, go through those things, get them hired, and have them out, hopefully, by the time that person retires, and they can start, if they're not already through FTO, at least start FTO at that time. That's field training.
That's what thank you.
Any other questions for? Take a motion to approve the Beech Grove Police Department to hire a replacement officer that will retire in July of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Board.
it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Up next, Board Master Vendor Permit for Next Stop Beech Grove. A little bit about Next Stop Beech Grove. It is a nonprofit that covers our Main Street Business District. It was started probably 6 or 7 years ago through the Beech Grove Chamber of Commerce. It has kind of grown and evolved. The Next Stop Beech Grove does several events throughout the year: Easter Express, Pumpkin Express, Polar Express, and we're looking to adding a few more events this year in 2024. We are a nonprofit, so we are asking for a master vendor's license for 2024. And if you see, there are several dates here that we are looking to have events here on Main Street. We have partnered up with the Beech Grove Artists Collective for their, what used to be known as First Fridays, will now be known as Fourth Fridays. So we have a calendar as well. So this just allow us to organize, start promoting our events, and hopefully attract more people to Main Street. One of our first events that will happen is April 7th for the solar eclipse. If you have not heard, the solar eclipse is coming soon. That is April 8th. I'm going to defer to Clerk Treasurer Stratton, and I think she can explain a little bit more about the activities on Main Street, what we're planning, and what we hope to bring to the city on that day.
Yes, so we're expecting, all the cities in the line of the eclipse are expecting a lot of tourists. So we're a little bit, I wouldn't say behind, but a little bit behind on planning. So we're planning to have events all weekend. So I know Hornet Park is having a dance party on that Friday for kids and families. And then Saturday, we are planning to do a movie in the park along with some face painting, hopefully some food trucks, luminaries, another like family-friendly event. Saturday, when we were requesting the road closure, we're going to do a block party on Main Street, which will also include 3 options for movies. The Eagles are going to be involved with projecting a movie onto Napoli. Hopefully I need to double check that Napoli's okay with that. But the Eagles are on board, and any money that they raise is going to go to their nonprofit. We're going to do a kids-themed movie in the parking lot of Spalding Jewelry, and whatever nonprofit would like to sell concessions there or do anything there, they get to keep that money as well. So all this is definitely geared towards all of our nonprofits in the city and helping them raise funds for their upcoming events for the year. And then the third screen will be actually in the street, and the biggest screen. That way people can feel like they can roam from business to business, grab some food, grab some pizza, coffee, candy, whatever they want to do. And that way we don't just have people in town waiting for Monday. And that way they have something to do and not just sit. So, and then Monday in the park, we're going to have a whole day of events from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., including yoga, tarot readers, food trucks, more face painting. I know Gwendolyn Lee Cakery is going to do like cookie decorating, and just getting as many activities that keep people busy, sidewalk chalk on the trails, things like that. So that way they have a place to be and see the eclipse.
I'm excited for it. I know we've worked with public safety, make sure they're aware of everybody coming to town and the potential for the amount of people that might come to the city for that weekend. So I know they're ready for it. DPW, the senior center, I know in the parks, we're all ready for it. So we're excited for it. Should be a good weekend here in the city of Beech Grove. So master vendor license request application was submitted. It has been signed off by the chief of police, Michael Maurice, and then he approved that license. So any other questions about that?
I do have a question.
That I think it's phenomenal, and
Yeah.
I appreciate your creative work in finding events that go along with a naturally occurring event.
It looks like there's a lot of planning involved. You guys have done well. But you can, both of you comment, we. So what's your involvement with the nonprofit and the next step, not the next stop, Beech Grove?
So Next Stop Beech Grove is something that was near and dear to my heart when I was president of the chamber many years ago. And the chamber helped to birth this entity to give Main Street business owners a voice. So we helped bring it to life. I currently serve as president of Next Stop Beech Grove as a business owner. And then Samantha,
I'm just a member, but I'm really, I'm spearheading putting all of this together for the
Nice.
eclipse. So
Very nice.
we're excited. We're going to get a lot of nonprofits involved, get the Little League
League,
involved, schools, the community center.
Promoters,
It's going to be a large amount of people involved in this event. So it's going to be fun, and nonprofits have a chance to raise some money during that weekend, which is
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Promoters Club is involved, so yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. I think.
Yeah. A number of events. You guys have really worked.
yeah.
Yep.
Very
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
Entertaining a motion to approve the master vendor's license application for Next Stop Beech Grove.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, board. Last thing on the agenda today is a street closure request from Next Stop Beech Grove. I'll defer to the clerk treasurer to read that into
Yes.
the record.
Next Stop Beech Grove requests permission to close the road on Main Street from 6th to 8th on April 7th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a Main Street movie event based around the solar eclipse on April 8th. A copy of the insurance has been provided listing Beech Grove as an additional insured. The use of additional trash totes and barricades would be appreciated for this event. Thank you, Jeff Mader, Vice President, Next Stop Beech Grove.
Thank you. So Jeff Mader, he's the vice president. He owns Mader Design there on Main Street as well. He's been very helpful with the organization. Kelsey Beal also works there as a landscape architect, and she serves as secretary for Next Stop Beech Grove. So, any questions about that?
I'm wondering how we communicate the closure of the road to Indigo, and I guess I would recommend as a part of the publicity for the event, maybe noting that just in general for the people of Beech Grove that the bus will not be available during that time.
Or will be on detour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as soon as if this gets approved, I will be letting Indigo know, and I'm trying to gather as many email addresses as possible from businesses to also say, hey, this is what's happening.
Sure.
And then we'll be putting information about the event on the city's website, as well as getting Next Stop Beech Grove's website up and running again and promoting it as widely as possible so people know that that's happening.
Great. Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions, board?
I think we also need to have, I mean, we are asking for a partnership with DPW and police, so you guys have the manpower to support the extra stuff, okay? Good.
All right. Motion to approve the street closure for the eclipse on April 7th.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, board. That is all that we have tonight. Any comments from board members?
I have none.
Our next Board of Public Works and Safety meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February 20th, 2024 at 6 p.m. here in the City Council chambers. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.